Well, let's be honest. White people could care less about holding hands with us. United we stand, peace together, standing. Oh my God, I am so tired of people preaching unity when they know that not only is it impossible, but something that they themselves are not willing to commit. Wait a second, are you saying it's impossible for people? You're not listening. Because if any of you really believed in that, you'd go back, you'd go through that gate, take a right into Jackson, into the segregated areas behind that street and all along it, and think about how you can begin
Ebony, that's not even what we're talking about.
No, listen, Grace, you're not listening. But if white people would just own the fact that they want us to stay over there, outside of the gates, while they sit within its safe confines, I would be okay with that.
White people within the confines of Rhodes? Well, you're here, aren't you? Being safe, getting a good education. As of 50-plus years ago, you couldn't have done that. But you're here now. Peace, acceptance, equality. It's a goal, Ebony.
It's a goal, Grace. But it's not a top priority.
And it'll take those of us that care enough to make it a top priority.
God, it is so naive of you to think that it's that easy, but it's impossible. Look, the power movement may have been rebellious and demanding, but that is the kind of energy that it's going to take to cure America of injustice and ignorance. And just for your information, Grace, and yours too, Professor, I was not uncomfortable listening to that speech.
I know you weren't.
I heard every word that was said because that is exactly what happens when you get pushed
But
too
what
far.
happens to those who want the same thing as you, but they can't have any part in it because they're a white devil, okay? Where's the love in that?
Where has the love been for the past 400 years we've been in this country? Because it wasn't being shown to black people. Show me the love.
But that's not my fault or his fault or her fault.
But it's your responsibility.
What good is an organization that excludes another person solely based on color?
You know, that's a really good question. Because it took hundreds. No. It took thousands of years for white people to even attempt to answer that.
So you admit it was wrong?
Do you really have to ask me that to know how I feel?
No, I'm making a point. Do you admit excluding another person solely based on color is wrong?
Wrong, Grace.
Then
yes,
why
it's
does
wrong.
Black power support
Well, why was it supported years before?
Exactly, and that was wrong of American colonizers.
White American colonizers.
And all that supported the segregation of colored people. It was wrong. So if it didn't work that way, what makes Stokely Carmichael think it'd be okay to adopt the same method?
Because there's no hope of reasoning with you. The only time I hear people talk about nonviolence is when black people move to defend themselves against white people.
We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline.
Black people cut themselves every night in the ghetto. Don't nobody talk about nonviolence.
We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence.
Lyndon Baines Johnson is busy bombing the hell out of Vietnam. Don't nobody talk about nonviolence.
Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force.
White people beat up black people every day. Don't nobody talk about nonviolence.
The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to distrust all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that our destiny is tied up with their destiny, and our freedom is inextricably bound to theirs.
But as soon as black people start to move, the double standard comes into being.
We cannot walk alone.
The only
we must
time
forever
I hear
conduct
people
our struggle
talk about
on the high
nonviolence
plane
is when black people move to defend themselves against white people.
Our creative
black
protest
people
to
cut
degenerate
themselves
into physical
every
violence.
night in the ghetto.
And
Don't
again,
nobody
we
talk
must
about
rise to the
nonviolence.
majestic
Lyndon Baines Johnson is busy bombing the hell out of Vietnam. Don't nobody talk about nonviolence. White people beat up black people every day. Don't nobody talk about nonviolence. But as soon as black people start to move, the double standard.
We cannot walk alone.
Women, children, men, take it into the palms of your hands.
Mold it into the shape of your most private need.
Sculpt it into the image of your most public self. Lift up your hearts.
Each new hour holds new chances for new beginnings.
Do not be wedded forever to fear.
Yoked eternally to brutishness.
The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change.
Here,
on the pulse of this fine day, You may have the courage to look up and out and upon me, the rock,
the river,
the tree,
your country.
no less to Midas than the mendicant.
No less to you now than the mastodon then.
Here on the pulse of this new day.
You may have the grace to look up.
And out.
And into your sister's eyes.
And into your brother's face.
Your
country. And say simply.
Very simply.
With hope.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.